The Springboks lifted the Webb Ellis Trophy for the fourth record time in history. This is in the history of the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup, that is, at the weekend. They beat the All Blacks by a small margin of 12 against 11. So, what does this win do for brand South Africa? Well, to answer that question, we're joined by a brand and reputation advisor, Janine Hills. Janine, good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time. Let's deal first with the kind of win that the Boks attained in France, the role that kind of celebration throughout the country, and I don't mean that in small amounts. I mean, we saw people gathered at malls to watch at fan parks, and it's people of all hues. What does this do for cohesion and distracting us from the normal day-to-day ills?
You know, Xoli, thank you, and always awesome to connect with you. You know, as South Africans, we've been through a lot. As Xolisa said, you know, as Sia said, we've been through a lot. We go through a lot.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's our strengths, you know, because I just read this morning, we were praising the Springboks, saying, you know, through the adversity that they faced, they came out tops, knowing how to deal with adversity. And I think when I say South Africans, I mean everybody living in South Africa. We do go through a lot. I think this last year, the last 2 years, 3 years have been incredibly challenging for all of us. So to have wins like what we had on Saturday, as well as the last 2 Saturdays that have made us all, you know, chew our nails off and sit at the edge of our chairs, what it does to us, Xoli, is first of all, it helps give us a boost emotionally. That's number one. It shows us that we can do something beyond all possibilities. That's the one thing. The second thing it does, I think, incredible leadership skills for all of us to learn from. Yeah, you have a leader that maybe is not the best rugby player. I'm not saying he's bad. He's phenomenal. But he coaches his team and works with his team, and talking about Sia, in a phenomenal way. You have incredible leadership coming through from the coaches. And of course, I say the coaches because you literally have 2 coaches. The leadership as the inspiration has undoubtedly, as leaders, touched us. What I loved about it, can I just tell you a quick story?
Please do.
As soon as we finished the game, my phone rang. You won't believe who it was. My incredible helper, my domestic helper at home.
Yeah.
She had watched the game at home. She phoned me in such excitement. The passion in her voice, that made my day.
Yeah.
Because it showed me that this game has transcended. And we need... Sorry, carry on.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you there. Then there's the element, Janine, about slogans that we all would have become accustomed to around this World Cup. And I want to bring that element to the conversation. We had Stronger Together, Maibuye, and I think the rest people will remember. Do these play a role at all at presenting South Africa as this united nation that is fighting for good, at least to the outside world?
Sure. You know, of course it does, because it's affirmation, 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 affirmation. And, you know, all of us read these self-help books or whatever, and you know, if you say positive, 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 undoubtedly that positive will become a reality. The challenge comes in is when we're faced with all the adversity, whether it's load shedding, whether it's economic difficulties, and it has been. So we really got to look at how, you know, creating jobs, our people on our street, the people that are trying to put a roof over their head, have food on the table, alleviate poverty is incredibly heartbreaking. So we've really hit, in a lot of the instances, the bottom of the bucket. But when you, as an individual, hear these positive affirmations and repeat them to yourself, undoubtedly you start turning a narrative within your own space and within your own head. And then you see transformation in front of you. You see someone that looks like you, that has come from nothing. He came from Zweden. that came from, he didn't know, Sia himself didn't know from which day to the next he'd have food. So affirmation, but he had a dream.
Yeah.
He had a dream and he had a determination, and that's where leadership comes in. You've got to lead yourself, number one. Once you can lead yourself, love yourself, and do the impossible, Xoli, you and I know we can do anything. And I think your affirmation is crucial.
As a country, Janine, have we become more visible in the world? And I'm saying this based on the fact that this is an international, or this was an international platform, and millions upon billions of people watched this game. I am sure of that. What does this do for brand visibility?
To see our flag on the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe gave me goosebumps, because that's TikTok exposure, that is social media exposure, that is France showing respect to the winner. And you heard the booing, you heard all the other stuff going on, but when one sees one's national flag, it brings in patriotism internally, number one, and eventually it will impact on tourism.
Yeah.
You even heard Sia say, come and visit our incredible country. Yes, we've got challenges. Well, guess what? So is the rest of the world. Yes, we've got challenges. We're going to work through this together. And we need leadership. We need all of us to play a role. But patriotism and being positive, speaking positively about your country, speaking positively about where we're going, what we're doing, instead of always going negative. We need to watch ourselves. Undoubtedly will have a positive impact, not only on you as an individual and me as a person, but it will have an impact on the economic impact of this country.
And talking about economic impact, you've already touched on the one sector that, in all likelihood, is going to try, and I'm going to use that famous word now, leverage of this, is the tourism industry. How do other sectors of the economy in South Africa benefit and use this win to capitalize and monetize?
So interesting. I just came off a meeting now with a mining company. They employ over 46,000 employees. And the first thing, we used the gees and the passion in our meeting today. And yes, we went through everything systematically like we normally did. But we drove through, and I said, there's a whole lot of leadership lessons that we can learn from Sia, that we can learn from Rassie. There's a lot of fun that they have. We sometimes forget to have fun. We need to bring that into our workplace to encourage our people. So as leaders and as people in the workplace, capitalize on this win. Why? Because this inspires nations. So business can do this. Government can do this. The other thing that I think what we can bring into the workplace for each and every one of us, and that is discipline and hard work. They didn't get to win by sheer luck.
Yeah.
They worked hard. There was the consistency, the reliability, the dedication, and extreme hard work. And that got them those beautiful buffed bodies, all right, that we saw this beautiful picture of those squares on those stomachs. You know what? That didn't come overnight. So each and every one of us play a role. And those that can't do it themselves, we have a responsibility to help them. So business has a responsibility in-house now. When the tour takes place, when they land on Tuesday, when they travel to Johannesburg, Cape Town, Eastern Cape, bring that into your companies, no matter how small. Let your staff celebrate. The other thing is government, attention to detail, discipline. If this doesn't bring discipline into government and lifting up the standards within government, you know what? We have over 1 million government employees. Capitalize on this. Let our ministers, deputy ministers, and also the people in government that do us proud, that serve our country. You know what? Enjoy this, because you never know which leader. You might be the president in the next 10 years or 20 years. Inspire yourself by this lesson that we've been taught.
Absolutely. Final question. You keep making reference to the players. Let's talk personal benefit here. People like Sia Kolisi, I think I read a headline either overnight or this morning. I can't remember which it was because it's just been such an exciting weekend. But apparently he has to make a choice between 3 of the countries that possibly want him, or at least the teams that want him overseas, not here. The personal benefit that these players get after such an incredible win, and it is historic because they have managed to win it back to back. So 2019, and there hasn't been a period in between, and then here they are again having won the 4th one. What does this do for their personal brands?
Well, this is when, you've made it to the top, and this is where it needs to be carefully managed. Because, I was watching the behavior on each and every player is exactly what you're saying now because of the nature of the business I'm in, brand and reputation, but whether it's for ourselves or whether it's for our country. This is his chance. I mean, those poor bodies took a beating. So physically, they have to change what they do. There's no way they can physically carry on. So they've got to make their money now in a different way. And I think the sports star internationally that has done exceptionally well is David Beckham on capitalizing on brand building. Sia himself is a leader. So what he says, how he encourages, will undoubtedly move and create additional value, whether it's a full-time job, whether it's being a watch sponsor, a vehicle sponsor. This is where they can make money. But it's also your behavior of your standards. So I say to people and a country is, who are you? What do you stand for as a leader? What do you want to achieve? Have a purpose. Now, he's got, the Sia Kolisi Foundation, and you can always hear in his communication as a leader, he talks about my people, giving back to my people. As a leader, no matter what you want to do, wherever you go, always remember your roots. So, yes, capitalize on it, but be careful of social media, as in how you behave, when you do things, when you say things, when you don't say things. It is something that we all need to be conscious of. Yeah. So be careful having too many glasses of wine in front of you, glasses of champagne, because the next thing people will call you an alcoholic. Be careful of little things like that. Watch your words. Are you speaking a positive narrative? Are you helping encourage other people? If you're not going to say something positive or nice as a leader, don't say it at all. And I think our rugby leaders have undoubtedly been trained this way. You could see it. They've been media trained. They now know how to engage with the public. And you know what was amazing? They were so humble in being able to do it, approachable and authentic.
Absolutely. Janine Hills, thank you so much. Thank you very much for such a hearty conversation. Well worth it indeed. Thanks indeed. Brand and reputation advisor Janine Hills there, talking to us about how we as a nation can now try and capitalize on this win. Our country, once again propelled, and how we use that going forward is going to be absolutely important to change our lives in the little corners that we may be.